We're going to solve and graph the solution to this absolute value inequality problem. But because this following inequality with the absolute value symbols are not isolated, we must first get rid of everything outside of the bars. We do that by adding 1 to both sides of the inequality. The absolute value of 3x plus 4 is less than 1. And that is true. We just have to go find out for what. So we're going to write this as two equations, two inequalities. 3x plus 4 is less than 1, and also 3x plus 4 is greater than negative 1. Now we're going to try and isolate x. We'll subtract 4 from both sides of this inequality, as well as this inequality. We now have 3x is less than negative 3, and also 3x is greater than negative 5. Continuing to solve this inequality, getting x alone, we will multiply both sides by 1/3. I always multiply by the reciprocal, because that always works. We now have x is less than negative 1. Also solving this inequality, multiplying by 1/3 on each side, we have x is greater than negative 5/3. Now to try and graph these numbers on this number line, I'm going to change it. The numbers need to be evenly spaced, but I can make them all thirds. And that way it'll be easier to see what it is that I'm trying to graph for this problem. So one of the numbers we found was negative 1, and that would be negative 3/3. And the other number we found was negative 5/3. Now which way do we shade? According to our statement here, we have that negative 5/3 is less than x, which is less than negative 1. So if we're looking here, we're talking about the numbers in between these two answers that we found. So it appears that we should shade here. But let's check and make sure that we're correct. Let's test. When you test, you normally try a number on each side of the numbers that you found. You never test the numbers you found, just something on each side. Since I'm running out of room here, I'm just going to test this one in the middle. Going back to the original equation, the absolute value of 3x plus 4, end of absolute value, subtract 1 is less than 0. So we're going to test this number negative 4/3. The absolute value of 3 times that 4/3 plus 4, subtract 1 should be less than 0. Let's see. Simplifying this, we have the absolute value of negative 4 plus 4 minus 1 is less than 0. Negative 4 plus 4 is 0. And the absolute value of 0 is still 0. And 0 minus 1 is negative 1. Is negative 1 less than 0? Yes. And when you say yes, that means that for that number that you tested, remember we tested negative 4/3, for that number that you tested, you're going to shade because yes, that works.